All right, here we go, Kayla. We're ready to kick this podcast back off. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, that's awesome. Hey, there's going to be a connection to what I'm about to ask you, but and we haven't spoke to the audience in a while, and we just went through the holidays, and I was just curious, what was your holidays like? What was the best part of your holiday?
Probably spending time with family that I don't get to see that much.
Yeah, yeah, we went down to Williamsburg. We entered into the world. Our second grandchild, Thomas, he came in Christmas Eve. It was great. I mean, we get the FaceTime, we get the text, we get the ways of communication, but isn't there something about just being together with people?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I spent the holidays with my sister and her family and my parents. And I mean, I usually like we text a lot, but we don't, get to see face to face. But yeah, just like the traditions and just like telling stories and stuff, you can't communicate the same through text or on the phone as you can, sitting around in the evening, maybe with a couple glasses of wine.
Couple?
A couple.
A couple. Yeah. Well, it always helps to get the conversation going, that's for sure. But there is a difference, right? There's a difference between using technology. Technology is great. Technology is awesome. And it's definitely helped us in the fitness industry. It's helped us just in everyday life. But there's still something about that human connection and being with another person, be able to sit down face to face and kind of watch body language and listen to tone and and pull those types of things so we can really, in our business, help that individual, uh, you know, find out what they really want and then help them get there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. I think that especially in the gym, you can like feel the energy when someone comes in. You can feel without them even saying anything. I've been learning a little bit about like frequencies, and so that's I've tried to notice that in the gym, like without even saying something to someone, just them walking in. I try to gauge like what kind of day they had or what kind of weekend they had, which with if I'm sending a message, which, like I did this morning, I'm checking in, but I don't get that same frequency, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So being live, being in person, and where I'm going with this, Kayla, is AI, right? AI is a part of the fitness industry. And I think back to how different forms of technology have entered our lives and how, well, let's say the internet, right? When the internet first came, well, I'm not going to use that. It's not going to, it's bad for my business. I don't want to go on the internet because if I go on the internet and start allowing people to buy on the internet, they're not going to come into my store. Business will fail. So you have people that where technology is introduced, they push away, they push back, and they refuse to adopt it. And many of those businesses failed. And some that did take it on and learned it as they go and made it work for them, it became a very, very important part of their business and allowed them to grow at rates that they probably couldn't just in that old mom and pop brick and mortar type of way. So as AI comes into the fitness industry, I'll bet you there are coaches out there that are saying, oh, no, not me. I'm not jumping on that bandwagon. All right. I just want to do just face to face and paper and notebooks and we'll get it done. What's your thoughts?
I think at the beginning, I was like that. Or maybe like right after COVID, because COVID killed a lot of in-person gyms. I think the fitness industry took one of the biggest hits from the aftermath of COVID and closing down because everybody was shifting to online programming or remote coaching. And so I think at the beginning I was a little nervous because I was thinking that, we were next. We were the next ones to go because people were shifting to the online. Um, but I've just recognized that there are thousands of online programs out there, yet we are still busy. We are still getting people through the door because people crave, like you said, the human connection, and just like the community aspect of it. So then I think I shifted my mind to think, okay, well, it doesn't have to replace what we're doing,
No.
but it can definitely aid us as coaches, make things more efficient, make them a little bit cleaner sometimes. Um, and it can help. We can use it for our clients, suggest it to our clients to help them as like an aid, as like a assistant to us.
Yeah.
Like we are their fitness coaches, but maybe ChatGPT is like their assistant coach.
Well, I
Kind of you
found
could do both
you
of them.
found actually you found right. I mean, seven different ways. So let's kind of go through these. There's seven different ways that the coach and the client can actually use AI to really maximize our opportunity. And I use the word our opportunity because we're there for them and to be a part of their growth, their fitness growth, and their feedback to us allows us to serve them better as well. So let's start with nutrition. I want to start with nutrition. How can AI and the coach and the client, those three things, work together to really maximize their opportunity to either lose weight, change their body composition, whatever their goal might be?
Yeah. So from the coach's side, I think, we see a lot of different people with different goals and different struggles and different hang-ups when it comes to nutrition. So we would start with what their snag is. Once we've heard, 10 different, if we've had different consults throughout the day with people, we've heard different things. So they all kind of get jumbled together, and what works for one person might not work for the other. So I think to use AI for us to kind of organize our thoughts and say, hey, this is my client, this is what they're struggling with. And it can kind of spark us to go in the right direction of like, okay, this is the direction we're going. And then we have the knowledge on that path, but it kind of like organizes it for us. And then on the client side, a lot of the things we hear is they don't have the time, they don't have the creativity to come up with recipes, or they just like don't know what foods fit correctly, or they can make a sample meal plan, a quick, you can go to ChatGPT and say, I need 5 home meals that include 30 grams of protein at each meal that take less than 20 minutes to make.
Hmm.
I don't like this. I'm allergic to that. And ChatGPT will spit you out a meal plan, right?
Yeah.
And so they use me to kind of like jumpstart it. I give them the framework for it of like, yes, we need to eat 30 grams of protein at each meal. You want to spread your meals out throughout the day, like whatever. These are the macros that we're shooting for at these meals. They can just take that info and then plug it into ChatGPT, and it'll give that sample meal because that's their main issue. It's not that they don't know what to do, it's that they don't know how to do it. So ChatGPT can help with the how.
Yeah, I love it. Because we're given guidelines. We're not nutritionists. We don't give meal plans. So the guidelines can kind of come from ChatGPT. All right. And so it comes alongside both the client and the coach and gives them the framework or the ideas that they can use at home on their own to support the guidelines that we give our clients, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. How about, and we've gotten into this a little bit, and I know you with a couple of your clients, and we've got these new Garmin watches, and we're wearing them all over the place. And I don't know about you, but the first time I heard of HRV was when, I mean, at least be able to track it and all that is when I got this Garmin watch. Readiness and recovery, right?
Mhm.
How can the coach and the client kind of use technology, use AI in this readiness and recovery kind of framework?
Yeah. I mean, I think like first, what your wearable says isn't the tell-all, but I think it can give good information. It could give trends over time. I don't think it's like the spoken truth of everything. Um, but I think that, your wearable is not AI, it's just giving you metrics. But
Hmm.
I think you could use those, then plug it into AI and say, hey, I've noticed my heart rate variability has been trending down. And you say, what does this mean? And I would bet that if you're not familiar with it, it's going to tell you you're probably fatigued, you could potentially be getting sick, you're overtrained, you're not recovered. Like, to whereas you're using two pieces of technology to tell you that. Now, granted, we want people to understand their bodies without something telling them. But I think it could go, I've had a client recently that it actually speaks the opposite. And it's
Okay.
like, it's eye-opening because this client has been constantly saying, I am stressed, I am tired, I am not sleeping, I just feel like I'm run down. Whereas that's great, but you look at the metrics on it and it says heart rate variability is fantastic. It has been trending upwards. Sleep is actually fantastic. You can see that we have it connected to our Coach RX app, so we can see clients, sleep throughout the night, the stages. We can see their heart rate variability. We can see their recovery. We can see their steps. All things are pointing in the right direction. So it's like you kind of challenge it, and you're like, well, where are you struggling? Because the data doesn't show that. But then I think it makes them think like, well, am I struggling, or is this like what it's supposed to feel like? Is this hard? Is this what training does feel like? You know?
Yeah. When it comes to recovery, when it comes to readiness, how can that coach and that client, and maybe you like what you just talked about, that mindset. There's something in that mindset of that client that's opposite of what the data kind of says they should be thinking, right? So if somebody is feeling down and then they look at their wearable and it says, hey, yeah, you're a little stressed out right now, you might have a cold coming on, or maybe it indicates certain things like that. What should a person do with their workout? Should they skip it? So you just know, hey, my wearable says I am not recovered, I'm not going in today.
Mhm. Yeah. So I know I have a few clients that have the tendency to overtrain and train through injuries or sickness or to whereas if that wearable is connected to the app, which they do have connected, I have a day of the week where I check their HRV, I check their sleep, because they aren't prone to telling me when they're feeling down. So I can kind of see it. And then when I'm doing their programming, I can tweak it for the following week to assist with that fatigue and get that back up, change their workouts a little bit. So where sometimes I say it and I'll say, hey, I'm going to tweak. I've noticed, your recovery is a little bit down on the metrics. I'm going to tweak your programming. Sometimes I don't even do it from a mental standpoint, is they won't notice that I did it because they follow their programming to a T. So it's like just on my end, I am programming it to cater to their fatigue or their lack of sleep or stress, whatever it may be. And then we just kind of ride the wave and get through it without them thinking that we are downplaying their program.
Sure. So we can get into a whole conversation, a whole nother podcast on sleep, right? And the
Mhm.
impact that improper sleep or poor sleep has on an individual's ability to, say, lose weight or to increase muscle mass, change body composition. If someone's looking at their sleep, what should they be looking at? Trends?
Yeah, I think trends over time or um like setting a goal for the whole week, right? Like that's what I try to think is like there are going to be some nights like my Friday mornings now that I'm not going to get 7, 8 hours of sleep, but the average for the whole week should be that. So I think um not stressing over a day here or there, but then recognizing that those days your productivity in the gym or maybe just in life maybe isn't as high. Um, and so, yeah, I think that just looking at your overall averages for the week, looking at trends over time. So like any wearable, you can look at your 1 week, your 4 week, your year, like you 6 months, you can look at it over time. And if you notice a period of time where it was lower, maybe diving into that was like what was going on? What was it stress? Was it light work? Was it my training during that time? I think it's just like good reflection points of it. Sometimes you can't change it, but or just looking at the times that you go to bed and you wake up, like that's a big thing in our consults. It's like, well, what time do you go to bed? And they say I'm not sleeping enough. And it's okay, well, you're going to bed at midnight. What time do you get off work? Okay, we get off at 5. Okay, you eat dinner. What are you doing for those 3, 4 hours? If
I had
your
to watch the Steelers
priority,
get their butt kicked last night. That's what I had to do.
I can't say that I did that. Um, but yeah, it's just like I like to challenge clients sometimes or when they say those things is I can't sleep. And it's like, is it that you can't sleep or is that you are doing something that is preventing you from going to sleep?
Yeah. You use the word reflection. And I don't know how many of our clients, it's probably something I should ask. I truly should ask and get a little bit more information on, but how many actually journal? Who can, and we are not mental health experts by any means. We're not nutritionists, we're not mental health experts, we're fitness coaches. We help people get in better shape, feel good about themselves, get stronger, change their body composition, all of those things. But at times when we sit in consults, we feel like a therapist, don't we?
I feel like I feel like I am a wearer of many hats in a consult.
Right. So how can AI, so we talk about reflection, journaling. When I think about reflection, I think about journaling. I know when you read books, you sit down and you journal, what you took in that day. I know that you are a big fan of journaling. With AI in fitness, how can journaling and AI kind of work towards helping them have a better understanding of themselves? You said, right? We want our clients to understand themselves, not just rely on AI or wearables, but really start to learn about what their body's saying, how their mind is interpreting things. How can journaling, AI, and a fitness coach kind of work together?
Yeah. So I think a lot of people have resistance to seeking professional mental health services, right? Like we see it a lot in our consults is like we can tell that somebody probably needs to talk to a professional in the mental health field. But a lot of people have pushback around that. It's just like a stigma in society. But I think that what you're doing, I mean, granted, this is just like very surface level, but
Yeah.
what you're doing in a therapy office is explaining something, and then the therapist is like reflecting it back to you, and then making you connect the dots of maybe tendencies that you have, or thoughts that you have, or they're trying to get you to understand. So then the first step is awareness of why you think these things. And then kind of reverse engineering it back to where it started. Well, if you go on, you could essentially, not that ChatGPT is a therapist. I think that everybody, I should just like full disclosure, I think that everybody should go to a therapist if they're having issues. But if the next best thing is like, well, if you want to journal or you are trying to figure out something that's happening mentally that you don't want to happen or you want to understand, you could go into ChatGPT and say, I am having these thoughts. I'm having a negative self-talk. I notice that every time I look in the mirror, I think negative thoughts about myself. I talk to myself poorly. These are just examples.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could ask ChatGPT, maybe, where is this stemming from? And it might give you an idea of like, where is it stemming from? Maybe you say, what are some journal prompts that could make me reflect on this to possibly move through this?
Mm.
Or work on these tendencies, right? So ChatGPT maybe it'll give you journal prompts, maybe it'll give you like affirmations that you could recite to yourself in the mornings, like trying to rewire your brain. And it doesn't take you going to a therapist and like showing that vulnerability. It's nobody's seeing the other side of it. But I bet a lot of those things would overlap what a
Mm.
therapist would say and what ChatGPT would say.
Yeah. Yeah. It's right. It's not the most vogue thing to do is say, hey, I'm going to a therapist. But at times we still need to be able to understand how our brain is kind of taking all these words that, that we're listening to. And that's one of the things you can start talking to chat GTP to allow it to give you feedback to understand yourself a little bit better. It's an issue. We take that holistic approach, right? We don't just talk about sets and reps. We really want to help an individual understand a holistic view of what's going on with their body and in their lives. And in chat GTP and AI, along with that human interaction, can help them move forward in their life. A lot of our clients and a lot of people who exercise consistently are often in jobs where it might require travel. or they might even just, be going on family vacations, but they don't want to lose their momentum. They want to keep it going. How can AI, the coach, and the client kind of use each other to make sure that while they're traveling, they don't miss out, they keep that momentum going?
Yeah. So clients usually tell us that they're traveling and they say, I'm going to be in a hotel gym. Can you make my workouts be around there? Well, I mean, I think I'm pretty good at knowing what hotel gyms have, but I haven't been to every hotel in the world, so I don't know. Sometimes they're not there. And I am not necessarily like a pocket trainer to where you can text me and say, hey, they do not have a cable machine in this hotel. What could I sub for? That's where ChatGPT comes in and you say, hey, what's a substitution for this exercise? This is the equipment that I have. It will give you a substitution for that. So, we can help shift the program for their travel, but sometimes it doesn't always line up exactly. That's where you could use your assistant coach, right? Your head coach is worried about the most important thing, the overarching thing. The assistant coach can come in and aid with that overarching thing. I think the same thing goes with nutrition. People usually struggle on vacation with nutrition. Um, you could you could take a picture of the menu at the restaurant that you're at and say, what is the highest protein meal on here? Or what is a meal under 500 calories? What is the healthiest meal on this menu? Because some people don't know. ChatGPT will tell you, I think this is the best option, and it'll have this meal looks like it has
Yeah,
this
but
many
that
grams of
doesn't taste
carbs.
as good as this one over here.
Well, we didn't ask it what
And
was
I'm
the
on
tastiest
vacation, dang
meal.
it. I mean, I want to eat anyhow.
Um, anything. It's like I'm going to a hotel and I have a mini fridge and a microwave. I'm staying here for 3 days. What are some simple grab and go meals that I could eat while I'm in this hotel room? I mean, I know those things, a lot of them, but some people don't. So that's a
Right.
good time to dive into ChatGPT, right? I
Yeah.
mean, if you don't think about it beforehand and talk to your coach and have a consult and it's like 2 seconds you can get it.
When you talk about consults and you talk about, communication, right? The client telling, hey, I'm going on vacation or I'm going on this business trip. I've got this, this is what I've got in my room. Can you help me, make better decisions on food, make better decisions on what I can do in the gym based on what they have. Sometimes we look at these hotel websites and they show these pictures of these nice things in that gym and they get there and it's not there, right? Or it's different. But communication during a consult, do you ever find that your client just is at a loss for words? They don't know what questions to ask. They don't know what they need to know, or they may leave the consult and go, well, why are we going in this direction? How can AI play a role in helping the client actually communicate better with their coach so that the coach can deliver programming advice that'll help them move forward?
Yes. And I think I know where you're going with this because I do this often as I feel like even us as coaches, so clients and coaches, we could use this because we have like I always call it spider brain. It's just like a million thoughts connecting to each other, but you can't organize it. Like you have it, like you know what you want to say, but you can't organize it in a delivery that makes any sense. I do this all the time. It's like I have it and I just start talking. I'm like, that didn't make any sense. So, but what a client could do, they probably have this same struggle, is you can go and just word vomit into Chat GPT, like just ramble. I do this all the time. Just ramble. Any thought that comes to mind, it makes no sense. It's not proper grammar. It's not a complete sentence. And you can say, can you form this into a statement that is organized and makes sense that I can deliver to whoever? And it will take your and you can even tell it like put it in my language. Because once you use it enough, it gets to know how you talk, how you like construct sentences, and even like terminology you use, words you use. Like it's not going to put something that's out of your vocabulary together. So you can say, put this in my words into an organized statement, and it will. It'll spit out every thought you just had. Take the most important ones, because some might not really matter, might not be make a difference in what the point is you're trying to get across. And it'll give you a nice, clean statement of all those crazy thoughts you just had. And a client can do that. Like they know they're struggling with this and this, and they feel this way, and they're having this issue, and this is a problem. And it's like, put it all in there and then have it give you like bullet points of what these things are, what you're thinking, what you're struggling with.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think that's because how many times have we sat in consults and said, "Hey, tell me about your program. What do you like about what's going on right now? You know, give me some feedback." And you get crickets. Oh, it's going fine. It's great, right? But is it? And we really want to uncover that so we can really deliver for our clients. So let's kind of wrap this up. Let's give it like a big picture view of AI, fitness, coaches, clients, right? Big picture view of it. What's most important? What's the biggest takeaway from this relationship with AI, clients, coaches?
I think it's just accepting that it's here and it's here to stay. And so we might as well utilize it and make our lives a little bit more efficient, and use it to your benefit to enhance whatever it is that you're doing the old-fashioned way. Um, I just think that it's time to accept and learn how to utilize it better.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, listen, I've used it and I've looked at certain things, you know, that came out of it, whether it be for programming or whether it be, you know, for my own program, for training or whatever it might be. And then I'll look at some certain things and I'm going and I'm scratching my head a little bit. That doesn't quite fit. That doesn't quite fit. And I've put it in front of you, and then you've looked at me and you've rolled your eyes and said, no, 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 no. So the ability to really have another human being, that human connection to bounce things off of, right,
Mm-hmm.
can balance what we do and help us make better decisions. It enhances the relationship that we have with ourselves, and it enhances the relationship we have with the fitness and our coach. So
Yeah.
as we move forward here, what would be the last thing you might want to say to your clients? Right, I know much of your clients are going to be listening to this. What would you like them? What was the takeaway you'd like them to have from today?
I would say we didn't really discuss this, but a takeaway is with to reminder with AI is that it's almost like a yes man sometimes if you notice. So to have like pushback against it. And then all of, not that I've had like official AI training, but I've listened to a lot of podcasts and talked to a lot of people about it. And it's often in agreement with you. It's on your side. And so I think
Mm,
that's also where like the human connection comes in, is because us as coaches, I would say especially me, is I have a lot of pushback against my clients, challenging, like making them think like I'm not just a yes man, like whatever they want, I give. That's not how I work. And I would say if you're using AI, is to also think about that, is have some pushback against it. In if it doesn't seem right, like you said about programming, if it doesn't seem right, push back against it. If something isn't exactly as you're thinking, don't just accept it. Like, because it's not 100%. It's a tool. It's
right.
not the end all. And I think that's where people run into issues, is they use it 100% and they're not using their own thoughts. Like you want to use your own thoughts and you know the answer you're trying to get. You're just using it to assist you. So don't always take exactly what it says without challenging it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Great way to finish. Hey, good to be back. All right, let's keep this thing going. And
So,
what's that?
so let's hope.
Let's hope. Well, we have a lot of hope going into this year. let's continue that hope and deliver for our clients and work with each other to create the life and the lifestyle that we all desire to have. All right.
Cool.
See you next
Yeah.
week.
See you next
Really,
week.
really see you next week.
Really?
Bye
All right. See ya.
bye.